If you were managing a team today, you've almost certainly accepted a new kind of digital coworker into your life.
Hmm.
We are talking about the AI note taker, that little bot that pops up in your video call.
Everywhere now.
It's everywhere. It transcribes everything, summarizes it, and then, spits out an action list
Yeah.
automatically. On the surface, it just feels like a GIF.
It's a gift for busy teams. Absolutely. Fewer minutes writing things down, fewer items forgotten. You get instant accountability. Seems perfect.
Seems perfect.
But, and this is the core of our deep dive today, while that convenience is, undeniable, what happens when every single conversation gets captured?
Right?
Even the really exploratory, the tentative ones, and they get converted into what the company now treats as the official narrative.
And that is the mission for this deep dive. We're looking at this quiet AI takeover of meetings. This isn't just about a new app. It's a really subtle, powerful shift in organizational memory.
In memory, in accountability, and really fundamentally it's about the dynamics of power inside a company.
Exactly. It's changing how work is remembered and how it's managed and tracked and judged.
We are moving from a system of, let's say, human interpretation to a system of machine-generated fact. And that's a huge leap.
Okay, let's step back for a second to really get the scale of this. We have to talk about the before times, the era of the messy meeting.
Oh, the glorious mess.
Yeah.
Think back just a few years. Meetings were defined by incomplete notes. The minutes were, handwritten or typed by whoever drew the short straw.
Usually the most junior person in the room.
Exactly. And those notes always reflected that person's bias, their interpretation, their memory. And human memory is, well, it's famously unreliable.
I can just hear it now. We agreed to that deadline. Wait, I distinctly remember saying we needed another week.
Precisely. And here's the critical insight that we often miss. Those weaknesses, the incomplete records, the fluid memory, they actually created a ton of organizational flexibility.
Flexibility, how so?
Well, because the record was soft. People could clarify things later. Nuance that got lost could be revisited. You could refine informal agreements over time without, the threat of some permanent machine-stamped record contradicting you.
Okay, so then the AI tools come in, the ultimate fixers. They promise to solve all these human problems by just getting rid of the mess.
Right?
They don't just record audio, they turn the whole conversation into a searchable, structured dataset. Every word, every hesitation is captured.
And suddenly decisions are trackable, conversations are searchable, tasks are visible to everyone with access. It feels like the natural evolution of things.
It does, but you're saying the change is deeper than just going from paper to digital.
Far deeper. The fundamental change is in the function of the notes. The research points out that meeting notes are no longer just a human interpretation. They are now a machine-produced artifact.
An artifact. That word, it sounds almost legalistic. How is a transcript from a bot different from, say, an email confirming a decision? I mean, email has always been evidence. That is a great question because it gets to the heart of the immediacy and the completeness of it. An email is deliberate. It's composed. A transcript, though, it captures the entire messy, spontaneous flow.
The interruption.
Half-finished ideas, all of it. And once that transcript exists, it can be copied, forwarded, searched. It gives it immediate weight. It's treated as factual evidence in a way handwritten minutes just never were.
So the stakes just go way up.
Yeah.
Because now this machine record, which feels objective, right, even if it has flaws, can be instantly used to support or actively challenge your version of events.
Right, which makes every single interaction so much more consequential for your career, for your project. The accountability is just instantly ratcheted up, and it's being driven by software, not a new company policy.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If the machine is fixing some problems, it's clearly creating others. Our sources frame this trade-off using 4 key tensions. And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's start with the first one, accuracy versus authority.
This one is tricky because we instinctively trust machines. We assume the AI is accurate. But the transcripts, well, they're not perfect. They can mishear names, misinterpret numbers. They can totally miss the intent.
And the summaries are even worse.
The summaries are particularly dangerous. They're designed for efficiency, so they will often just collapse a complex disagreement, a tense back and forth, into one neat sentence of consensus.
They flatten the whole negotiation. So a 5-minute debate, a really contentious one, about whether to deploy next week or delay next week. It just becomes a single line item.
A single action item.
Yeah.
Deployment scheduled for next week. Done. And the tension is this. Even if that summary is wrong, A typo, a misheard task, once it's circulated and labeled meeting minutes, it immediately becomes the authoritative interpretation.
And people act on it. Most people are not going to read the full, 50-page transcript to check.
Exactly.
So if there's a mistake, like that delay becoming deploy, that error doesn't just sit there. It travels across the whole organization.
It becomes a commitment.
Yeah.
And someone, eventually has to fix it, usually after a lot of time or money has been wasted. The burden of proof just shifts.
Right. And the authority of the machine summary means the person who spots the error now has to argue against the AI.
Which is a much harder argument than saying, hey, I think Bob just misheard me.
That leads right into the second tension, productivity versus psychological safety. I mean, I've personally used these tools. They save me an hour a day on notes. That's real productivity.
It is. It's tangible.
But if everything is recorded and saved forever, doesn't that make people hold back?
It does. I mean, think about how real innovation happens. It's often a half-formed, risky, maybe even a stupid idea that's just tossed out in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people speak more freely. They offer up those controversial opinions. They engage in real debate. When they believe the conversation is ephemeral, they know it'll get refined before it's on the record.
Yeah. But when everything is tracked, attributed, and searchable for years to come, people get cautious. I know I would. If my first messy thought on a strategy is going to live forever in a database, I'm going to wait until I have the perfect polished answer.
And the consequence is that while your short-term meetings might look cleaner, no rambling, everyone on agenda, the long-term cost is an organization that's less creative.
And less honest.
And less honest.
Yeah.
Why would you be the one to raise a really difficult but necessary challenge if that skepticism is permanently recorded for your next performance review?
It's a veneer of efficiency. You're trading candor for it, which connects perfectly to the third tension.
Power.
In the old messy meeting, power was about your job title, your expertise.
Your influence in the room, right?
Exactly. But now...
Well, now power also comes from controlling the artifact, the record itself. The research we looked at suggests that control over these seemingly administrative tools translates directly into real organizational power.
Whoever controls the record controls the history. So let's get specific. What does that mean? What functions translate to power?
We have to ask these questions that sound really mundane, but they shape careers. For instance, who gets to press the record button?
Right.
In a lot of places, only the meeting owner can. That gives them immediate authority. But what's even more important is access and retention. Who can see the full raw transcript versus just the neat summary, and who can edit that final summary?
That is a huge difference. If I, as a manager, can see the raw transcript showing a junior employee hesitated or used uncertain language, but they only see the polished summary of their commitment, I hold an asymmetrical advantage.
You do. And the person or department, often it's IT or leadership,
Yeah.
who controls the retention policy. They hold immense power over the company's history.
So do they store every transcript forever, making every conversation a potential liability?
Or do they delete records after 90 days, prioritizing psychological safety over, perfect accountability? These seemingly simple admin decisions, they fundamentally shape who is held accountable and for how long.
So the person editing the AI summary now has more control than the person who used to type the minutes.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the fourth tension, consent. We all do it. We click yes when the bot says this meeting is being recorded. We consent.
Right. But the sources are suggesting we might not fully grasp the consequences of that consent. What's the hidden cost here?
The hidden cost is what happens to that data after the meeting is over. You consent to the recording, but do you consent to attention? Do you consent to the data being aggregated into, say, a productivity score that tracks your speaking time?
Do you consent to it being searchable by HR 6 months from now?
Exactly.
So the meeting stops being a moment in time. It becomes a corporate asset.
Precisely. A data asset.
Mm.
And often these tools are not just transcribing. They're applying natural language processing to generate all this metadata, sentiment analysis, topic clusters, who gets assigned what action item.
Speaking equity percentages.
All of it. And this level of data goes way beyond the original purpose of the conversation. It transforms a casual check-in into a permanent, quantifiable record of your professional output.
That's a profound shift. We're not just archiving audio, we're archiving behavior and intent and then structuring it for analysis later.
So, given all this, what does this actually mean for you, the listener, operating in this new recorded world? Because this tech isn't going anywhere. We need new etiquette, new rules.
And For leaders, the lesson is, I think, crystal clear. You have to stop treating these AI tools just as efficiency tools. You have to see them as what they are. Governance tools. They're literally structuring your culture.
Leaders absolutely must be explicit about the rules. This means a formal AI meeting policy. You need to outline what gets recorded, who has access to what, and critically, how long the data is retained. You cannot leave that ambiguous.
Because the default will be maximum capture, maximum retention.
Always.
And leaders have to define the norms before the meeting even starts. They need to say, clearly, this is a formal meeting, everything said is a commitment and will be recorded. Versus, okay, everyone, this is a safe space for brainstorming, the AI is off, or the transcript gets deleted right after.
That clarity is what protects psychological safety.
Right.
Then for teams, for people working day to day, the absolute necessity is building a verification habit. You have to consciously treat AI summaries as drafts, not as the gospel truth that replaces human memory.
This is a crucial step. You have to reintroduce a human moment into the machine's process. A team needs to take, 3 minutes at the end of every recorded meeting?
Just 3 minutes.
And have a person, maybe a different one, each week review the action items, review the key decisions for accuracy before they become binding commitments.
That small review step is your firewall.
Yeah.
It protects the whole team from a misunderstanding that started with the machine mishearing something.
Yeah.
It's also, it's an act of saying human accountability still matters more than machine convenience.
It's keeping the final authority with the team, not with the algorithm.
Yes.
And for you as an individual navigating all this, it's about learning a new kind of personal etiquette. You just have to assume your words can and will travel.
Which means you need to adapt how you speak. Be explicit. State decisions clearly. Instead of, yeah, I can probably handle that, say, I commit to task A.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe most importantly, if you see an error in a summary that gets circulated, you have to insist on a correction immediately.
Oh.
Don't let a machine-made mistake stand, because that record will outlive your personal memory of the event.
So to synthesize this whole thing, we have to recognize the duality here. These AI note takers, they offer undeniable efficiency, execution, clear accountability. That's real.
It is real. But they introduce these real risks of, reducing candor, distorting nuance, creating these asymmetrical power dynamics because of errors that travel.
The essential factor is just understanding that AI is turning fluid, messy human conversation into persistent, structured, searchable data.
It's turning collective memory, which is sometimes contested, into an immutable digital artifact.
And the organizations that will really win with this technology will be the ones that look past the clever feature part of it. They'll be the ones that treat these transcripts and summaries with the seriousness they deserve, as tools that shape culture, trust, and decision-making.
It changes the game. It changes history.
It really does. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The last time a machine-generated record contradicted a human memory in your organization, which one won?